Hi everyone, and welcome back to Pause for Self-Care. To the newbies and the OGs, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate you, especially while my videos have been a little bit erratic. Business kind of picked up, and I couldn't prepare things, but I'm trying to get a little bit more on top of things, so here I am. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share this video if you find it interesting or with somebody who might find it useful. And let's get into today's subject: boundaries.
In our hearts there's love and light that we must realize. We need to feel, we need to use this warmth that could make bright our lives. In all of us, in our hearts there's love and light that we must...
Okay, so I do have some notes that I've written, not as long as the previous video. I know I looked down a lot in that video and I'm sorry, but today I've got much shorter notes on boundaries, so I'll be looking for more at you, and I hope you enjoy that. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting to set healthy boundaries. Firstly, it's important to understand why we need to set healthy boundaries. So start to think about what improvements setting boundaries may bring to your life. It's always good to set boundaries. Now, a boundary is not nastiness. It's purely saving your mental health. Look at it like that. A boundary is saying to somebody, I cannot tolerate that behavior anymore. Boundary is saying, even with yourself, I will stop to have a break in between work. It's important to have boundaries so that your mental health is taken care of. When somebody triggers you, you can set a boundary. It's not being nasty. But when you do set a boundary, well, the nasty might come out in that person. And you know, all that means is that person never respected you in the first place. Boundaries is about respect. Respect for you and respect for that person too. Because when you set a boundary, you also set boundaries in respect of yourself. So you know, look, I can give somebody advice, but they don't have to take it. I don't have to be forceful about it. Unfortunately, we do have to accept that other people will do as they want with their life. After all, it is their life. And they have to accept that this is your life, your person, your space. Think about what you want. Think about what you are and aren't okay with. Think about what you want out of your relationships, and this is your parents, your work, your friendships, acquaintances, your social media, every aspect of your life. And oh gosh, please excuse Destiny, she's having a moment of nice cat. Anyway, as I was saying, decide in every aspect of your life what you want out of it, what positives you want to come, and how you need to change things so that it can be more positive for you and you can grow. After all, setting boundaries is for you to have more peace and to be a better person. Keep them simple. Sometimes no will suffice as a boundary. If you say no, it's no. It's not like saying no is not a indicator for somebody else to try and talk you out of your decision. Saying no is no. Making it small and simple to start with, like I say, perhaps start with yourself and make a boundary with yourself and say, I won't accept not taking a break during the day. So you can set perhaps a reminder on your phone, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or whatever time suits you with your schedule. And just let a song go off and you dance it out. Yeah, if you work from home, dance it out. Or take a breather and play a game. I find that playing a game, for me, stops me from answering a message in my time. And that break might be 10 minutes, might be 30 minutes. But it's good for my mental health just to take a break from people and give myself that space. And that's a good thing, isn't it? So boundaries aren't bad things. They aren't being nasty. They're being good to you and good to another person. Because if your cup is not filled with those breaks that you are taking, for instance, let's continue with that theme, you won't be able to have the energy to give it to that person when they need it. Especially if you work in an area of giving. Taking breaks is so important, and looking after yourself is so important. Set reasonable consequences for when your boundaries are broken. So we're not going to get petty here and, take revenge or something like that. You have to voice your boundary in the first place, so the person knows about your boundary, because they can't violate a boundary that you never voiced in the first place. So voice your boundary. If it is broken, remind them again and say that behavior is not acceptable. Go from there. If they continue to break it, you've got to enforce that boundary a little bit harder, or make a decision if you actually want that person in your life anymore. Well, if it comes to that, of course. And yes, once again, you can have boundaries with your parents. To reinforce and establish your boundaries, remain consistent. Keep those boundaries in check. Don't let somebody overstep and say, oh, it's okay, it's that person. No. Make sure you be consistent. How you allow people to treat you sets the bar. You can't let it slide with one person. You've got to be consistent. You've got to keep it there. But in saying that, your boundaries can be tweaked to suit however your mental health is at that stage. We do have bad days. We do have good days. So it can be tweaked. Say, for instance, I'm having a bad day and I don't just want to speak to people on that day. You don't have to answer people immediately. And that can be one of your boundaries. That on bad days, you don't have to speak to people. You can delay answering them by a day. Or the time period that you feel is adequate or reasonable. It's so important to have that, to just know that you can take time to have that mental health day and to look after yourself. When you are voicing your boundaries, it doesn't have to sound like an attack. Like I said before, boundaries are not nasty. If you're feeling angry, you can take a step back and say to that person, I need a little bit of space before I answer you. And it is up to them to respect you enough to give you that space. And that respect is really important. So yeah, focus on when voicing a boundary, the phrase you choose to take wouldn't feel like an attack to the other person. Because look, if it feels like an attack to the other person, they will answer in anger. So it's always important to try and voice your boundaries when you are not angry. They say don't make a decision in haste or anger. So just take a step back, work it through a little bit in your mind, and say something when you're feeling less angry. Because obviously you need to create this boundary because of the anger this is causing you and the distress to your mental health. Communication, communication, communication. Like I said before, if you don't state your boundary, the person won't know about it. If you waffle too much, they're going to be confused. So make that statement short, sweet, to the point, and say, like I said earlier, nice one, short. The behavior is not acceptable. Just to remind them, you're not accepting that. Your happiness is as important as everybody else's. And last but not least, respect other people's boundaries. You can't expect people to respect your boundaries if you don't respect theirs. Kindness for kindness. And yeah, if somebody disrespects you continuously and you've voiced a boundary and you voice that boundary again and again, maybe it's time to reevaluate that relationship. And that's where it is tough, not easy. It's not fun to realize that somebody disrespects you in that way. That basic boundaries aren't important. But yeah, do check out my blog because I'll put a little extra information in there. I do have a worksheet on setting boundaries with a little bit of extra information, so do head over there. The link to my blog is always at the top of the description box, and below that all my socials. Do check out my socials because as I put information on my blog, I also put a little bit of extra information on my socials. So yeah, head over there, and I do appreciate your engagement on my socials as much as I appreciate your comments and engagement on my videos. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this short and sweet boundary video. Until next time, to the OGs and the newbies, remember to pause for self-care.